all third-person swans spoiling tater-tates insist they've none of them been missed, they've none of them been missed. He's got them on the list, he's got them on the list, and they'll none of them be missed, they'll none of them be missed. There's the banjo serenader and the others of his race, and the piano organist, I've got him on the list, and the people who eat peppermint and puff it in your face, they never would be missed, they never would be missed. Then the idiot who plays his enthusiastic tone, all centuries but this in every country but his own, and the lady from the provinces who dresses like a guy, who doesn't think she dances but would rather like to try, and that singular anomaly, the lady novelist, but I don't think she'd be missed, I'm sure she won't be missed. He's got her on the list, he's got her on the list, and I don't think she'll be missed.
That was I've Got a Little List from The Mikado by Gilbert and Sullivan. It was always a favourite with all my family, who would burst into song when they wrote a shopping list even. But my dad took me to my first Gilbert and Sullivan performance of HMS Pinafore when I was 11 years old. And that created a lifelong love of Gilbert and Sullivan that we shared together. He would invite me to go to more serious operas too, trying to get me to go by saying it's just like Gilbert and Sullivan, which of course it wasn't. But I became his opera companion. And even though I never developed the strong love that he had of opera, it really was a wonderful experience that we shared together. And the knowledge of opera always stood me in good stead in business and social situations. He put me on a horse for the first time at 4 years old, and he said he regretted it for the rest of his life. I think the hospital bills, as well as the horse maintenance bills, made him have those regrets. But nevertheless, he supported everything I did with the horses. He came to my shows, he helped groom, he helped feed and take care of the horse, and was always there to show his support. When I gave up riding for some time, I took up golf. That was his sport. He and my mother played, and I took up golf. And that led to many, many years and many, many happy vacations. We played golf in different countries all over the world. One day he came to our house with a brand new set of golf clubs. And we were scheduled to play together in a tournament the next day. And if any of you play golf, you know that a new set of golf clubs right before a tournament is really not a good idea. So we got up early and went to the practice range, and he hit some practice shots, declared himself ready for the tournament, and went out and played the tournament of his life. And we won the tournament together, and we often laugh about those new clubs. I'm sure he never played that well with them after that. He supported me in my professional life and business life in so many ways. He helped me practice for interviews, instilled a work ethic in me that I still have today. He celebrated my promotions and raises, and really supported the businesses and pitched in and helped wherever he could. He was always there to offer help and advice. My father's sense of humor is renowned. It's one of his best features. We could always find the funny side in everything, and he loved a conversation with witty repartee. When my mother bought a microwave, she thought that this was going to be his answer to not starving after she passed away, which she was convinced he would do. She thought this would be an easy way for him to be able to cook for himself, and she tried to encourage him to read the instruction book so that he would know how to work it when she went. He said, "Oh no, I'll read the book on the way back from the funeral." When my mum passed away, we teased him all the way home about whether he did have the book with him, whether he was ready to learn the microwave. But 20 years on, I think my mother would be astounded to see how much my father did learn to cook, and he certainly did not die of starvation. When Mum passed away, we tried to explain to Mac that we would understand if he wanted another companion and would like to marry another time. But he told us, no, there's no need for me to marry again. I married the right person the first time. After my mum passed away, my father used to come and spend a month or 6 weeks with us every year. He loved the US. He delighted in learning to understand the American people and their culture and their customs. He enjoyed traveling around many of the states. He particularly loved the national parks, and the presidential libraries were a delight to him. But he was fascinated by anything and anyone. He loved the museums, whether they were the big, famous Smithsonian museums or small farming museums in a small town. We golfed in many, many states. He enjoyed the ski resorts, the mountains, and the natural beauty in the US. He met many of our friends, and many of them delighted in getting to know him and what a wonderful man he was. A very old friend of ours in Colorado this week told me that your father had the ability to make you feel like you were the only person in the room. And that is an amazing ability, and it's certainly true of him. And that made him very successful in his business and in his private life. I remember in particular one visit that he made to the US. David and I had shortly before decided to live together, and this would be their first meeting, and my father was arriving for a 6-week stay. Of course we were apprehensive, but we really need not have been. My list of domestic tasks for my father to do while I was at work got longer every day rather than shorter, as he and David gallivanted around Colorado, sightseeing, golfing, and getting to know each other. And by the end of his stay, I knew that David had fallen in love with him as well. I'm going to finish with a piece of music from The Marriage of Figaro, which was the last opera that we saw together in New York. At the Met. That was his final choice of place that he wanted to go and to see the fall colours. My father, my hero, my guiding light. My admiration for you knows no bounds. Rest in peace.
Torno girando, nel celeste volante il riposo, Narcisetto adoncino d'amor.